before the game.
Lots of connections between the two coaching staffs, really, especially with Summers.
Lloyd Avant and Levon Brown back to receive, but there is no need as this one is through the end zone, and it will be a touchback as we get our first look at this Colorado State offense. And quarterback Jackson Brousseau began the season as the backup to Braden Fowler-Nicolosi, came on in relief week 3 against UTSA, and he has been starting ever since. This will be his 6th start. It was a rough go of it last week with 3 interceptions, however, in that 28-0 loss against Wyoming. First carry of the game to Jalen Dupree. He's ahead for a 4-yard gain before Amaris Brown makes the tackle.
And they're playing with some tempo here. They have a new play caller, the 3rd one of the year in Grant Chestnut, former tight end coach, still coaching tight ends, but also calling plays.
Nice spin by Dupree to pick up the 1st down. As we take a look at the Colorado State offensive line, Big A, Aitor Oria Nabarra-Nachea.
Wow.
Mans the offensive line there at center. Dupree at running back. Rocky Pierce, keep an eye on him at tight end. And this is Levon Brown on the catch. And Colorado State, you mentioned the pace. They're moving quickly here.
They're moving quickly. They really operated the offense during the bye week in a much more efficient way, changing the way that they signaled, changing the philosophy, trying to explain to the offense exactly what Grant Chestnut was trying to accomplish. And it looks like they have a pretty good idea with their script coming out in this one.
Rousseau, plenty of time. And he's just going to get rid of it. As we take a look at this UNLV defense, as I mentioned, they have shown some cracks. Jalen Lee, Cohen Fuller manning the defensive tackle spots. Marcel McDuffie all over the place, as is Bryce Edmondson at linebacker. And on the back end, keep your eye on Amaris Brown at that nickel spot. He is the leader back there with 4 interceptions on the season. 2nd and 10 for Colorado State. Rousseau rolling to the right, being chased. He's going to be content with the 3-yard gain, but we do have a flag on the play.
Chief Borders was the guy that flushed him from the backside. Never quite got there. Brousseau felt him and got away. We'll see what the flag is.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 0. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
That's the cornerback, LaTerrence Welsh. Our referee tonight, Patrick Foy.
Colorado State picking up big chunks with the penalty. Couple of nice runs from Dupree as this offense has its 3rd debut of the season here in early November.
Marshall and Dupree in the backfield. This time it's Marshall having trouble getting back to the line of scrimmage. Muhammad Al-Tayeb on the stop. That's no gain.
2 backs in the set, and they bring Marshall across the formation. Good job standing it up there. And some gang tackling by the Rebels.
Rousseau set to throw from the 29. That one complete to the right side. It's Javon Kennard. They call him Chop. True freshman from Pearl Cohen High School in Nashville, Tennessee.
Chop Kennard, they had him lined up in the slot, but he's playing a running back position, and they bring him across the formation also, and then end up throwing him the ball after faking it to him. They're doing some pretty creative stuff here to start the game. Short yardage situation, though. Let's see what they can do.
Dupree checking back into the ball game at running back. There's Dupree fighting for that 1st down, and he gets it. They're going to be aggressive on offense, just like Tyson Summers, who was the defensive coordinator, still the defensive play caller. They blitz more than anybody in the country, and he said, we got to put up points.
Yeah, he's going to be aggressive on both sides. That's just his nature as a coach, and they were always aggressive as an air raid offense under Coach Norvell, but this is a little bit of a different look and a little bit of a different way they're getting in and out of their formations.
Keeping it on the ground once again. Nice hold for Dupree, who dives ahead for the first down.
Jalen Dupree out of Arkansas, a captain, very shifty guy. Look at this cutback. He sees it right there and makes a nice, really tight cut to Wortman's backside. You really want to be right on that guard's behind, and that's how you shoot up the field inside like that.
Dupree shedding the gloves. Cutting to the outside. Dupree has a hole, breaks a tackle inside the 5-yard line, down to the 2. We do have a flag on the play, I believe.
Without the gloves this time, Dupree is going to break it outside and then break a tackle. Strong shoulders, shaking off Jake Pope. No flag.
Here's Dupree again. And that was just a yellow mouthpiece. Yeah. I thought that might be another flag.
Another giant yellow mouthpiece. Guys are hanging 3 or 4 mouthpieces sometimes these days, and they just dingle and dangle off of the face masks. It's pretty interesting. There's Coach Summers. And there's his offensive philosophy. Ain't nothing like points. We asked him if he was going to play a little slower offensively to help out his defense, which is a notorious thing that the air raid doesn't do. And he said, absolutely not. We're going fast. We need the points. Ain't nothing like points.
3rd and goal here. Lloyd Avant met in the backfield, does not get back to the line of scrimmage. Marcel McDuffie, their leading tackler on the stop.
McDuffie right there in the middle. He's the guy that lines them up like Owen Long on the other side, and he sees that right away, reads it beautifully, and gets into the line of scrimmage to make the tackle.
Going for it on 4th down, 10 for 21 this season. Rousseau looking to throw wide open in the end zone. It's Rocky Beers.
Well, he came open right away, and Rousseau saw it right away. Doesn't force it, moves his body a little bit on the movement play, and delivers a catchable ball to the redshirt senior out of Littleton, Colorado. A great Colorado name, Rocky Beers.
The best Colorado name.
Can't imagine one better. Maybe John Elway.
Isaiah Hankins makes it 7-0. That the first touchdown of the Colorado State era under interim head coach Tyson Summers. They didn't score against Wyoming. A whole different story this time around. So Colorado State with its first touchdown in 2 games, scoring on the opening drive, a methodical 13-play drive that covered 75 yards. They go for it on 4th and goal and get the score. The touchdown pass to the tight end Rocky Beers is 4th of the season.
You know, I didn't know that we were going to have a potential shootout with the great way that UNLV plays offense. You always think about it like that, but you wondered if Colorado State was going to be able to score with UNLV based on that first drive and the script that they had laid out. Maybe we are in store for that.
And it's going to be a touchback as we get our first look at this UNLV offense that has been high octane throughout most of the season, led by their quarterback, Anthony Calandria. The junior transfer from Virginia has been terrific this season. Last week, of course, their second of back-to-back losses to New Mexico. He was a game-time decision, was getting IVs leading right up to the game, had the flu, toughed it out threw for nearly 400 yards
Yeah.
and 3 touchdown passes.
It was still great. Took a lead late, but lost.
Here's Jet Thomas, their running back, falling ahead for a gain of 2. As we take a look at this Rebels offense. A lot of new players on both sides of the ball for UNLV. The center, Reed Williams, leading the way up front, and they have playmakers everywhere. Jet Thomas in the backfield. Jaden Bradley in the wide receiver corps. A lot of weapons for Calandria to deal to. Pressure coming from Colorado State, and it's good coverage by Owen Long.
They bring blitzes from everywhere. That's what the Colorado State defense does.
And there is Owen Long, the leading tackler in the country, right in the middle of that defense. He is all over the place. Lamondre Joe, the experienced cornerback in the back end. And keep your eye out for Jake Dramalowicz. He blitzes often.
They blitz from everywhere, and they bring everybody. Look at that.
Crowd in the box, 7 guys coming in after Calandria. He gets rid of it. That pass is complete. And there's Jaden Bradley, their leading receiver, averaging almost 17 yards per catch.
Look at how many guys they bring. 7 guys right in the box, and at the snap, everybody comes but one, and they run a loop with Long, but Calandria, very calm, gets the drive route over to Bradley, who gets the first down.
From the 38, more pressure coming. Nowhere to go for Calandria. They get to him in a hurry.
Absolutely, you see Bella there. Reed Williams, the center, has got so much to do as far as IDing everybody before the snap. And they just can't hold up under that pressure. Jet Thomas does a good job of trying to pick up blitz, but they get collapsed over there on the right side.
10 new starters on defense for Colorado State this year, and they have suffered a laundry list of injuries, so a lot of new faces in there as well. Here's Jet Thomas on 2nd and 10. And Owen Long, the first guy there to wrap him up.
Well, they've had so many injuries on their defense and so many changes as we look at their captain, Owen Long. 23 different starters on D this season. Really only 3 guys, Owen Long and the corners, who have played all year long and not missed time. And that's part of the reason Owen Long is putting together a career year in Fort Collins.
Third and 7 for the Rebels. Pressure coming again. Calandria has to get rid of it early. Day-Day Reynolds, the intended receiver. Jahari Rogers was all over him.
They are bringing everybody. Guys down, guys standing up at the line of scrimmage. That's Andrew Larich, the team barber, who makes a nice move and gets to Calandria. Calandria knows that he's got one-on-one matchups down the field when these blitzes are coming, but he doesn't have time because the pocket is so muddy to throw it up.
Cam Brown punt away to Kennard, who calls for the fair catch inside the 10-yard line. So far, so good for the Rams, up 7-0, and it's their ball when we come back. Back in Fort Collins, the Rail Jam competition, part of the Snow Days celebration, going on before the game. They make a little fake snow before the real snow comes here in Fort Collins.
And the white uniforms looking pretty sweet. You see what they did in the last game and what they've done just early in the first quarter. That bye week helping out a lot as they get more acclimated to Grant Chestnut, the new offensive coordinator, tight end coach, as a play caller.
As you mentioned, a 3rd different play caller this year for Colorado State. Started with Jay Norvell, then it was Matt Mummy. And now it's Chestnut keeping it on the ground once again. Good for 2, maybe 3. And I believe we have another flag.
And the flag came pretty late there. They're doing a lot of ghost and orbit motions, things like that, coming around trying to confuse UNLV, but attacking the line of scrimmage while they do it.
Personal foul, chop block,
okay.
Offense number 72 and number 76. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay first down.
Yeah, it's on the left side with Christian Martin and Alex Foster, and this could be a big setback for them. And that is a chop. That is the definition of it. Alex Foster didn't hit him that much, but just enough. And you saw the block coming from the side from Martin. That'll draw the penalty every time, especially out there on the outside where the refs can see it.
So now 1st and 15, just on the other side of the 5-yard line. Going to keep it on the ground with Dupree, who gets out past the 10.
And you can kind of see what they want to do despite the penalty. They are very, very committed to running the ball. As we take a look at Isaiah Patterson, linebacker, Brousseau getting the play. They're doing a different vibe as far as signaling the plays in. When you do that with a football team, you change it in the middle of the season. Takes some time to figure out.
Here's Avant, nowhere to go. That's going to be a 2-yard loss. 3 defenders were there. Donovan Spellman leading the way.
Senior transfer out of Charlotte. Spellman getting inside and making that play on Avant, getting right to his back, forcing a 3rd and long. Dan Mullen hoping his defense can get off the field here.
They're going to play conservative here, give it to Avant, who's going to be about 2 yards shy of the line to gain. Trey Fulton on the stop for the Rebels.
If it wasn't for Trey Fulton, the redshirt freshman, and they're going to be playing a lot of freshmen in this game, Avant could have very easily had that first down. He just needed a couple more yards. Fulton does a great job coming in and making a physical tackle and forcing the punt.
D'Angelo Irvin Jr. back deep for UNLV. Brian Hansen punting for the Rams, ranks 5th nationally, averaging almost 48 yards per punt. Little sidewinder style, going to get a big bounce here. And that's down to the 40.5-yard line. A 41-yard punt by Hansen back after this.
Rams up early in Fort Collins, and look at Owen Long, the captain. Such a star defensively. It's not enough to be big, mean, and angry as a linebacker. You got to be able to read like Algeus Huxley. And look at him. He doesn't buy the fake. He knows it's coming on a screen on the other side, sheds a block like it's not even there, and gets to the feet of the ball carrier to make the tackle. This is a smart linebacker who's also very physical, and his coach, Tyson Summers, has a really special one there.
Calandria pressured, pulls it back, gets rid of it, complete to Lee. And there's a flag down. It was Dylan Phelps on the stop.
Physical finish from Dylan Phelps, who's starting at nickel, at redshirt freshman guy. Calandria just flipping it over there. Phelps hits him with the shoulder, and then the flag comes right out. I really like Lee as their changeup back.
Defense number 7, 10 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
They called that on Lamondre Joe, the cornerback who started all year and really never comes out. And you see him, yeah, with a handful of Jaden Bradley's jersey. You can't even tell he wears the number 6. He was holding him so bad.
Here's Lee on the reception, going to pick up the first down, tripped up by Jaseem Mitchell, but not before Lee can pick up the first.
I really like Lee, very strong between the tackles, does a good job catching the football out of the backfield. a really great find out of Mississippi State for Coach Dan Mullen. So many SEC guys on this roster.
Here's Lee again. Falls forward for a gain of 5. Lee's like so many of these guys in college football these days. This is his 3rd school. Mississippi State, his last one started at Penn State. He was there for 3 years. The leading rusher for the Nittany Lions for a couple of years. Then he was beat out by a freshman. Moved on to Mississippi State, and now here at UNLV.
And he's backing up a junior in Jet Thomas, but gets a lot of run in this offense. And they're now in an attacking mode where they were being attacked on their last series.
Lee again, dragging Chris Jackson with him for a couple of extra yards. Going to bring up 3rd down and short.
Very physical guy, 225 pounds, and has a good forward lean, and really sees and understands the scheme as far as the run game goes and where the soft spots are going to be on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, UNLV really did a nice job in the portal. Lee could be starting at a lot of other schools, but they have Jet Thomas and Lee in the backfield. They are certainly choosing from a horn of plenty. Pressure coming again. Calandria has to get rid of it, just shy of the line to gain is D'Angelo Irvin. Chris Jackson makes sure he doesn't pick up the 1st down.
Irvin, a junior, a 3-year Rebel. When they bring a lot of this pressure, those crossing routes are there for Calandria, and they're trying to go fast on 4th and 1. There's a flag and a timeout call. Which one is going to hold?
Prior to the false start, timeout, Colorado State. That is their first. It'll be 30 seconds.
So that timeout likely saved them from a penalty. They had guys running on the field. Had the ball been snapped, would have been a 1st down for UNLV. So nice move there by interim head coach Tyson Summers. Here's that last 3rd down play, P.
Mitchell coming on the blitz is the guy right in the face of Calandria. And the crossing route to more of a slot guy in Irvin. They have 3 very big receivers in O'Meary and Bradley and Day Reynolds. Irvin, a pretty productive slot guy. They have about 3 of those as well. As you said, Dan, a real horn of plenty as far as skill positions go. And overall, for this UNLV offense, they're going to get another shot at the 4th and 1.
7 for 13 on 4th downs this year. The give to Lee, head down, 1st down.
Very good job just getting behind the center and 2 guards and pushing forward. James Faminu was the guy who wore the face mask right in the small of the back. A little friendly fire, but the O-linemen don't mind that if you get the 1st down and they all fall forward looking good. Especially if they're wearing a back flap.
Got to wear the back flap. Fake the handoff to Glover. Pressure again. Calandria gets it off to Nick Elksness.
Elksness, one of the leaders on this team, one of those guys who started his career in Florida. Like you said, 3 schools, South Carolina, now UNLV, but knew Mullen like a lot of these guys did from the SEC. He was coached by Mullen at Florida and has become a team leader here for Las Vegas.
Keeping it on the ground again, and it's another 1st down. This time it's Jalen Glover. That was a pretty big old hole.
Glover, the transfer from Utah, coming across and seeing that hole, and Owen Long's got to get around that double team that pushed the line back into his face to make the tackle, and by that time Glover had some nice momentum. Owen Long with a bit of a wrestling move to get him down, but not before a really good gain. Calandria on this drive has been very sharp as well. 3 for 3 with 16 yards. They haven't gotten to him with that pressure like they did in the first one.
Four-man rush from Colorado State. Calandria going to the end zone, and he's picked off. It's tipped and picked by Jace Bella. Just the 5th interception of the year for Anthony Calandria.
He's trusting his receiver, throws it up, but it's a little low. Slapped by Rogers, snatched by Bella. Colorado State with the quick change in Fort Collins. And it starts out with the one-on-one coverage out there. Omire versus Rogers. And it's really a back shoulder throw that Calandria is trying to pull off. But I don't believe Omire and him were on the same page. And that allows Rogers to slap it in the air and give Bella the chance at safety to come over and make the play. You see the frustration from Calandria.
This is Justin Marshall trying to spin out of a tackle as Jalen Lee was raking at the ball. And here's more tempo for this Colorado State offense. Justin Marshall out wide for the Rams. Quick throw, complete, first down, LaVon Brown.
This is a little bit how they looked on their first drive, running the ball and throwing it out to the perimeter and getting some good stuff.
Colorado State on the move once again after the 12-yard gain back in Fort Collins after this. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Graduate by Hilton. Spirited stays in your favorite college towns. Look at the first quarter stats. Rams up 7-0. And they were the beneficiary of the only turnover of the quarter with that interception in the end zone. And
yeah, it looked like UNLV was going in.
Now trying to turn that into points of their own. Keeping it on the ground with Dupree, who slips behind the line of scrimmage. Chief Borders was there.
Yeah, Dupree a little bit frustrated after that one. This one, he should have just put his foot in the ground and gone underneath that block. Trying to get a little fancy, and Chief Borders had the edge. He wasn't going to get outside of him. Slips anyway.
2nd and 12 after the 2-yard loss. Rousseau rolling to his right. Pressure coming, gets rid of it. It was LaTerrence Welsh who almost got to him.
UNLV can call up some blitzes of their own. Their D coordinator, Paul Gunther, sending the corner from the backside. And Rousseau wisely throws it away.
So 3rd and long here. Pressure coming from the Rebels. Over the head and nearly picked. Jake Pope almost got to it. It was Trey Fulton who tipped it.
Well, the Rebels giving the Rams a little bit of their own medicine, bringing an elaborate blitz, but really only rushing 4, moving a lot of guys around. And Rousseau with the errant pass, trying to get it to Brown. They're lucky that wasn't a pick, and even up on the turnovers.
Here's Hansen again. And on the return is D'Angelo Irvin. Jace Bella on the stop. Let's take a look at the player profile sponsored by Google. And he is the engine of this offense. 68% of the team's total offense this season, nearly 2,500 yards is what Anthony Calandria was responsible for. 450 rushing yards, 2,000 yards through the air. Pretty good company here,
yeah.
P.
Well, he's been the most consistent offensive performer, as has this UNLV offense been in the Mountain West this year. No doubt about it.
Quick throw out to Tayshawn Lyons, but nice pursuit there by the defense. Jacob Ellis and Janias Tafia on the stop.
Good job by those guys, recognizing the middle screen, maybe a little bit of the timing with Lyons messed up because he had to catch that ball twice. But good pursuit and good aggression and action from Tyson Summers' defense early in this game.
Landry going to throw again on second down. This time it's complete for the first down. Hauling it in is JoJo Earl. You talked about those slot guys, Earl, Reynolds, and Irvin. They roll them all through.
He's one of those. Started his career in Alabama. That's, I'm sure, where Mullen found him. Then TCU. And he ends up at UNLV with a lot of these other guys finding a home in an exciting place.
Whistles being blown all over the place. We talked about how well Mullen did finding guys in the portal. A lot of these guys he recruited.
Play is under review.
Oh, they want to check to see if his feet were in bounds. But Mullen said some of these guys he got in the portal he recruited when he was at Florida. That was 4 years ago.
Yeah, he knows a lot of people. And I think the right foot was down the whole time when he first caught it. If that's when he caught it, he's going to be out of bounds. But keep an eye on that right foot. He's got the ball. The toe is down. I believe he's going to be in. Doing a little bit of a two-step there on the sideline is JoJo Earl out of Fort Worth, Texas.
That's really close.
After review, the ruling on the field of the completed catch for a first down has been upheld.
There you go, Petros. Never a doubt.
Only need 1 foot in college. Makes it easier, to say the least.
So in addition to knowing some of these guys in the portal from his time at Florida, Dan Mullen also did some TV work calling games, right?
Yeah.
And that's where he saw Anthony Calandria at Virginia last year and kind of filed it away and said, when I get back into coaching, I might like this kid.
And Vegas is a place that's perfect for transfers, guys that have been in college for a couple of years.
Keep it on the ground, and there is some room for Jaden Thomas. Jet Thomas taking it to the house. A 57-yard score for Thomas.
Well, such a great start for the Rams, and it's all erased in one play. Great job by Thomas. A better job by Makahele coming around and sealing that edge, and then he gets around Lamondre Joe and shows his speed where they like to get him in the open field. Beautifully executed by this explosive Rebels offense to try to even this game up.
Well, that's going to help the average yards per carry. Jet Thomas came into the game top 10 in FBS, averaging nearly 7 yards per carry. This one from 57 yards out. The extra point ties it up at 7 apiece here in the second.
Vegas pulling even in Fort Collins, and check out Alani Makahele. The guard here shuffles over beautifully and seals off the great linebacker Owen Long, and Jet Thomas gets a nice block on the edge, and he's just too fast for the rest of the Colorado State D. Had a 70-yard touchdown run earlier in the year against Idaho State.
Makahele was at UNLV for 3 years, then went to UCLA last year, and then back at UNLV to wrap up his college career. You don't see that very often. Fielded at the 10-yard line. Levon Brown wrapped up at the 20. Tomorrow, a Fox NFL doubleheader starts with breakout rookie Jackson Dart and the Giants taking on Caleb Williams and the Bears, or other regional action. Then it's America's Game of the Week as Matthew Stafford and the Rams take on Christian McCaffrey and the Niners, or it's Lions and Commanders. Check local listings for the games in your area, only on Fox.
It's a crucial moment for this Rams offense in their new form. They've looked pretty good and confident, but now that UNLV has evened things up, can they keep their patience?
Lloyd Avant with some room. Nice run on first down, picks up 7, maybe 8.
I like Avant too, along with Dupree. Both guys really set you up for dramatic cuts, and they do a good job running between the tackles. Empty backfield here on a 2nd and manageable.
Quick throw to the right side. It's Avant picking up the first down for the Rams.
And they said they were going to do that. Put the running backs in the slot. Put the running backs out at wide receiver. Move the running backs around the formation and make the defense pay attention to them and tackle them. Pretty interesting game plan from Grant Chestnut. As we've mentioned, a new play caller, the 3rd the Rams have had this season. Unbelievable.
Broussard throwing again, taking a shot this time, has it complete. It's Rocky Beers again.
Beautifully done by Brousseau. He had Kennard. I thought he was going to hit him on the outlet. You see number 24 wide open, but he had bigger plans as Rocky Beers was exploiting Isaiah Patterson. Nice throw by Brousseau.
A 48-yard gain on the throw by Brousseau.
Back in the red zone are the Rams.
Four-man rush coming for UNLV. Brousseau going to the end zone. And we have a flag down. That was Mumu bin Wahad in coverage for UNLV.
They were running the ball a lot and attacking the perimeter, but Colorado State mixing it up, throwing the ball down the field, forcing UNLV to cover everybody in every quadrant.
Pass interference, defense number 6. The ball will be placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Bin Wahad, yeah, wrapping him up. As the ball is arriving.
Yeah, he's flummoxed and angry on the sideline all at the same time. Sets up 1st and goal for the Rams. Chance to take the lead here at home in the 2nd quarter. Here's Avant. Cohen Fuller, the defensive tackle from Inglewood, California, was the first guy there.
Well, the last time they were in this part of the field, Dan, it was Rocky Beers that they were able to get the ball to. And Beers has already had a big chunk play on this drive. There he is lined up. Right there on the edge.
Brousseau rolling to the left. And he's just going to get rid of it. He had Rocky Beers in the flat, but he was covered. Pressure coming by Andre Porter.
Yeah, they had the same idea that we did, trying to get it to Beers as he comes across the formation. If he was going to throw it, he had to throw it right then, right when he cleared the tackle box. Instead, he holds on to it looking downfield and then wisely gets rid of it.
3rd and goal coming up. Colorado State 1 for 4 on 3rd down conversions tonight. Tyson Summers having a conversation with the side judge.
Timeout. Colorado State.
Timeout has been called. Colorado State takes a timeout, and so do we. Fox Sports proudly salutes our nation's veterans and the organizations that serve them every day. Our veterans deserve to live with dignity and independence, not on the streets. That's why we're making Camo Our Cause this Veterans Day in support of the Honor U.S. Vets campaign. To donate and learn how you can help and end veteran homelessness, visit go.fox/US Vets. Thank you to all those who have served our country, as we now are looking at 3rd and goal for the Rams. Brousseau flushed out of the pocket, trying to cut it back inside, gets inside the 5-yard line to Miche Adela.
Brousseau having a hard time making a quick decision here. He did have Avant as an outlet, but he needed to get it to him a lot quicker than that.
And they're going to have to settle for a field goal here. Isaiah Hankins on for the 23-yard field goal attempt. And the lefty puts it up and through. Colorado State back on top, this time by 3. After the field goal, and time for everybody's favorite segment of the ballgame. Petros predicts the future. We're looking at next week.
I think Georgia's going to eat Bevo steak. I'm not sure how tender it is.
I bet you it's pretty good.
But that would be the one mascot if you're going to eat a mascot. Alabama going to take out the Sooners. And I like the Hawkeyes after their heartbreak today and Herky's heartbreak in his Canadian tuxedo against Oregon over USC.
Ooh, over your Trojans.
Karma for the fake punt.
Could probably eat a Hawkeye too, couldn't you?
I guess. Seems like it wouldn't be a lot of meat on it.
Certainly not as much as Bevo.
No. It's a longhorn steer.
Yeah. Nice ribeye out of Bevo. Well, Colorado State has to be happy with how they have performed thus far after getting shut out against Wyoming. And you can see that the bye week for Tyson Summers has certainly made a difference. Time to reset, time to connect with his team, kind of establish his culture.
And we talked about Colorado State. Can they answer offensively after UNLV with the big play? Jet Thomas, a beautiful run. And they did. Came down and got a field goal. And you see what Jet Thomas is doing in UNLV's school history.
Jet Thomas, no transfers for him. He has been at UNLV the entire time and been productive the whole way. Here is Thomas spinning out of a tackle, but he stepped out of bounds after the 3-yard gain.
Mitchell just getting enough of Thomas, who is hard to bring down between the tackles and on the perimeter. Turns him around just so it's a 4-yard gain as opposed to Thomas being creative out in space, which is what you don't want if you're a Ram fan.
Here's Thomas again with some room, breaks it to the outside. Jet Thomas trying to go the distance again, inside the 20, tripped up at the 12-yard line by Jake Jamalowicz, who saves the touchdown for Colorado State.
Great effort by Jarmo getting out there, but again, just really beautiful blocking inside, and Owen Long is late to come over and make that tackle. When you blitz a lot, you bring a lot of guys and use a lot of multiple formations, this kind of thing can happen. That's Matt Burns, the tight end, 6'6", 245 pounds, coming over with the cross block and springing Thomas.
For 59 yards, his second run of 50 or more tonight. Here's Kevon Lee. Upended by Lamondre Joe.
And I just really love the change-up between the backs. You're chasing Thomas around. You're worried about his speed on the outside. And here comes Kevon Lee, who's a patient runner, knows how to get behind his pads, and really can hammer the nail. They got a good offense.
Yes, they do. Here's Lee again on 2nd and 6. Driving the pile ahead to the 5-yard line. And Lee is not easy to bring down. 225 pounds, he runs hard.
Yeah, and he's got a great forward lean. The way he runs the ball, he's a very pure zone runner. Like we said, he runs with patience, keeps it on the front side when it's supposed to be there. And when he cuts it back, he's very disciplined, selling the front side before he gets to the backside A-gap.
Here's Calandria in for the score. And just like that, UNLV back on the board with their second touchdown of the game that gives them the lead.
Well, we haven't seen this element of his game that much in this one. They call a play for Calandria, and they pull Makahele around and lead Kevon Lee through. Very nice job by Calandria, who's a patient runner and has good acceleration when he decides to take it up the field. And he's excited.
Viella, extra point, good. 14-10, UNLV on top. After the Calandria touchdown, picks up a nice block by his running back, and it was his other running back, Jet Thomas, who set it up. We told you the open, Anthony Calandria could do it through the air and do it with his feet. A 5-yard touchdown run puts UNLV on top, caps a 75-yard drive, and it was set up by Jet Thomas, a 59-yard run, his second run of 50 or more in this game.
Really got his hips into that celebration.
Lloyd Avant back deep to receive the kick. And they're getting after it on the sideline at Fort Collins, are the UNLV guys. Fielded at the 4-yard line. It's LaVon Brown fighting his way back to the 20-yard line. A lot of contact there. Yeah, Brown kind of ran into the back of his own guy on that return.
Yeah, he tried to use the block, kind of hide behind it and jump to one side, but the kickoff return bull rush, you don't often see. He gets knocked back. But let's see what Colorado State has after UNLV's exploded with rushing yards, 146 to 54. Thomas with 2 big runs.
It's Justin Marshall trying to pick his way through the traffic. Tunmise Arelea on the stop for UNLV. And these yards, at least on the ground, for Colorado State, tough to come by.
Yeah, the bottom of those shoes were sparkling emerald green. Not that close to Christmas, but I thought it was like an elf.
We're getting closer. Not to Thanksgiving yet, but already in the holiday spirit in Fort Collins, as we saw earlier. There's Marshall again, trying to spin out of the tackle of Jaheim Joseph.
He's got the emerald slippers on. This time does a great job of kind of reading that and then shooting through that hole for the first down. Just a sophomore, but a mature guy, and has a small package in this game, and they're using it right now.
Oh, nearly picked off. Andrew Powdrell had a great jump on the ball, just couldn't hold on.
Powdrell saw it really well. He's been a good tackler out on that edge with LaTerrence Welsh as the other corner. All 4 of the corners in this game have played all year and very established. And he read that. Brousseau very lucky that it wasn't picked off. They got to get something here on 2nd and 10 to stay out of 3rd and long.
Brousseau over the middle to Beers. Beers going to be 2 yards shy, but it's going to bring up 3rd and short.
That's what they're looking for. Just a little delay to Beers and now some tempo to try to get the first down.
It's Marshall and his green bottom cleats right at the line to gain. He picks up 2. I think he's going to be just shy.
He is just short. Beers made a nice catch on 2nd down and then comes around and makes a good block that time. And they want to stay on the field to keep that UNLV offense cooling on the cool sideline in Fort Collins.
They only need about half a yard, but an aggressive move.
In the shotgun here, it makes it a lot harder.
It certainly does. You see that so often in college. In short yardage situations, operating out of the shotgun, because that's where they're most comfortable.
30 seconds.
It's where most of the run game comes from, like you said. It's where they're most comfortable with the timing with the offensive line and getting into the line of scrimmage.
Take a look around the Mountain West. What's going on in the conference right now? San Diego State right now in first place. What a season for New Mexico. Bowl eligible for the first time since 2016.
Yeah, Sean Lewis with a great turnaround down in San Diego, becoming more of a defensive team. What could you say about Eck in New Mexico? He's going to be one of the hottest coaches in America. And Timmy Chang and Hawaii, bowl eligible for the first time since 2020. You got to love that. Going to be a great matchup with Hawaii in Las Vegas later in the year as the Mountain West Conference takes shape.
A lot of interesting storylines in the Mountain West Conference, as promised. Tyson Summers said they're going to be aggressive. Taj Bullock in at quarterback. He can run it, and that's what he's trying to do here, but he doesn't get there. There is a flag on the play.
Well, it just didn't look good from the start, did it? They get Taj Bullock in, who is their short yardage type of quarterback, a guy that they like to move around. Been a lot of places, Virginia Tech, Akron.
Legal shift on the offense, 2 men in motion at the snap. That penalty is declined. Results of the play is a first down for UNLV.
There it is right there. Just a stepping back there. Draws the flag.
Well, regardless of the penalty, there was nowhere to go for Bullock. That was really well played by the UNLV defense.
Yeah, they fitted up, and Bullock got kind of stopped in the backfield there. Didn't look good from the start. Nice job by the UCLA transfer, Isaiah Patterson, getting into the backfield and making another play. Calandria takes over in plus territory. That's tough for the Rams.
Yeah, at the 39-yard line. Great field position for the Rebels, who are already up by 4. Chance to add to their lead here. Calandria dropping back to pass. Dumps it off to Glover.
And
Paul Tangelo on the stop. Sorry, Pete.
No, those are plays that Calandria might not have made earlier in his career. Always trying to go for the deep pass, always trying to hit the home run, maybe running around a little bit too much, taking too many hits. This time he's patient, drops it off to the outlet, and now you have 2nd and 3 to work with. He's a much more mature quarterback under Corey Dennis, this offensive coordinator, and Dan Mullen.
Pressure coming on 2nd and 3. Here's the shot play. Looking deep in and out of the arms of Bradley.
Well, they rushed 7 guys. They brought the whole house against Calandria, and he drops it right into the breadbasket of Bradley, who just could not pick it up over his head. But still a manageable 3rd down situation because of Calandria's patience on 1st down. And you can tell he's got a lot of juice. He doesn't want to be patient, but he's learning.
He's really matured, according to Corey Dennis and Dan Mullen, and that's the biggest difference. He's willing on those shot plays when they're called to take something else if it's not there. Going to keep it on the ground on 3rd and 3. Here's Lee inside the 20-yard line. 1st down, Rebels.
They bring Burns, the big tight end, around again. The transfer from Houston comes pretty late and gets a nice block, and well read by Kevon Lee, getting underneath that block and getting the 1st down. I mean, he really got in there and rooted him out. Paul Tangelo taking the hit.
Here's Glover. That's going to be a loss of 6. Jasim Mitchell gets to him first.
Yeah, sometimes when you're running out to the perimeter and the Rams are slanting in that direction, and they're bringing the whole house. Yeah, you're going to have a hard time escaping that, and that's part of the risk reward of the way Tyson Summers calls a defense. Mitchell, who's been very active and timing up blitzes very well, gets that one.
So Calandria going to keep it himself this time, gets a couple yards back, but not much more. And it was the barber, Andrew Lorich, on the stop. So now 3rd and long for UNLV. They started this drive on the 39-yard line after Colorado State went for it on 4th down. You really have to turn this into points.
Good job by the Rams forcing the 3rd and long, taking some chances defensively. They can get burned or they can get you. They like that extra hat every once in a while in the run game. Not afraid to call one for Calandria.
Looking to the right side. Here comes the pressure. He gets rid of it. It's Bradley leaping for the first down. Does he get there?
The athleticism of these big UNLV receivers. Bradley taking his time, and Rogers, if he looked up, he would have seen the bottom of Bradley's feet. And a nice job by Calandria. It was a 4-man rush, and then they added Owen Long late. 15 yards for Bradley.
Hurdling people to pick up the first down. Tremendous individual effort by Jaden Bradley.
Here's how the Rebels got the first down. A 4-man rush with some looping, and then Long comes at the end, but they get it out to Bradley. Nice patience from Calandria. And look at that. This guy is 6'4". And goes right over the top, and without that hurdle, he doesn't get the first down. 1st and goal, Vegas.
This is Glover with some room. Ducks the shoulder and into the end zone. Jalen Glover, what a run.
Talk so much about Thomas and Lee. Look at Matt Burns. This tight end is putting on a show with a great block, coming around, not in motion, but just gets enough of a piece of that shoulder and opens up the hole, runs over the safety for the touchdown, the junior transfer out of Utah.
It really has been a 3-headed monster at running back for UNLV. Lee, Thomas, and Glover all taking their turns tonight. And the extra point makes it an 11-point lead for the Rebels as Glover continues to celebrate on the sideline.
Yeah, taking a headbutt from a guy without a helmet. Here comes Glover, and he's going to go right into Jace Bella. Bella slides all the way down and can't hold on to his ankle. Physical finish for a guy who's 5'9", but over 200 pounds, 205 against 185, and he wins that battle.
Yeah, wins it impressively.
And then the platoon-style celebration. Nobody remembers movies from the 80s.
Who could forget Platoon? Come on. Calandria is starting to find his groove, as is this UNLV offense. This is a stark contrast to last week when they found themselves down 21-0 early in the 2nd quarter to New Mexico. 7 plays, 38 yards, just over 3 minutes, capped by the Jalen Glover touchdown run. His first touchdown of the season. Caden Costa set to kick off. Avant and Brown are deep for Colorado State. As we have one more running on the field on the coverage unit for UNLV.
Nothing worse than being that guy where you're standing there and you're supposed to be out there and everybody's screaming on the sideline. You remember that, Dan.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's check in with Mike Hill, see what's coming up at halftime.
Hey, coming up on the State Farm halftime, second-ranked Indiana escapes Happy Valley with a dramatic finish. A one-sided battle for Big 12 supremacy between BYU and Texas Tech, plus ninth-ranked Oregon survives a thriller in Iowa. Dan and Petros will have it all for you at the half. Make sure you join us then.
Purple, the theme of the night for Mike Hill and me. Petros.
Yeah. It's been an exciting day, though.
It has. Indeed, it has. Colorado trying to make it even more exciting with under 2 to go in the first half. First down on the pass completion to Tommy Maher. The former walk-on, earned a scholarship last year.
Really their most productive receiver out of St. John Bosco High School, a real football haven in Southern California.
Flag down. Another complete pass. This is to Ty Lanier, who picks up the first down. But let's see if this is coming back.
And you have to expect some of these pre-snap or unforced penalties from Colorado State as they are changing their offense. Dan Mullen trying to figure out what it is with Paul Gunther, his DC, standing behind him.
There are fouls by both teams on the play.
There you go.
Illegal formation, offense for 5 men in the backfield, holding on the defense number 9. Those fouls will offset. We'll replay first down.
All right. Dan Mullen, none too pleased.
Colorado State had 5 guys in the backfield. That was the penalty there. Dan Mullen obviously upset about the hold. Doesn't look cold anymore. Looks pretty hot.
He heated up in a hurry. Going to keep it himself, and picking up the first down is Jackson Brousseau.
And that's one of the better quick decisions he's made. We've seen him hesitate a couple times in this game with decision making. He saw that it was only going to be a 3-man rush and they're dropping everybody, makes a quick decision to run and gets a first down. That'll run some clock and help Colorado State out. Even if they can't get a score here, got to keep the ball away from that hot Vegas offense.
4-man rush from the Rebels. Brousseau gets rid of it off the hands of LaVon Brown. Sophomore from Sierra Canyon High School just couldn't handle it.
And should have been caught there. A conservative throw by Brousseau, but keeps them moving in the right direction. Only one timeout to work with here for the Rams.
This is Dupree right up the middle, plenty of room, picks up another first down for Colorado State.
Dragging Marcel McDuffie at the end of that play. We saw Dupree have some good runs early in this game. We've seen Avant, Marshall, and Kennard going 4 deep at running back. They're pretty deep at that position, not as much out on the edge.
Brousseau again dumping it off, this time to Antwi.
Only his 4th reception of the year. The transfer from Ohio State. They're having a lot of success with these crossing routes. Both teams really. And a nice job by Brousseau moving this offense down the field, getting close.
Another short pass from Brousseau, and this is going to be Ty Lanier taken down behind the line of scrimmage by McDuffie.
He's their most consistent defender, McDuffie, as Brousseau's trying to move him fast and get him back up to the line of scrimmage and save that timeout.
28 seconds to go in the first half. And whistles coming in.
UNLV calls a timeout.
Yes, they do. So 1 timeout left for the Rebels, 1 timeout left for Colorado State. 20 seconds to go here in the first half.
Dan Mullen must have seen something he really didn't like to stop the clock for Colorado State in that situation and leave them with their one timeout remaining still to try to take a shot at the end zone before they kick.
And he's discussing things with defensive coordinator Paul Gunther, who was his college roommate. How cool is that?
I can see them both as young men having a different kind of discussion right now in my mind's eye.
I would imagine that on a Saturday night at 8 or 9 o'clock. Not quite as many responsibilities as being in charge of 105 young men.
Not in the portal era, that's for sure.
No doubt. All right, they added a second, so 21 seconds to go here in the first half. 2nd and 11 now for the Rams. Rousseau sacked. Elias Rudolph gets to him.
Rudolph made a great play on the kickoff.
State, that is their final of the half.
They only rush 3, and they get to Brousseau. He's in a stand-up position there against Aaron Karras, who's been sick this week. You only rush 3 and you get home. That is not a good look for the offense. And they're forced to call that timeout.
First sack of the year for Rudolph, and he beat a couple of guys. Dupree tried to chip him, and he got through both guys to get in for the sack. So Colorado State burns that last time out. Looking at 3rd and 16 with the ball on the 34-yard line. Be about a 50-yard field goal attempt from here.
They got to make it a little bit more manageable. No longer taking shots at the end zone in this situation. They got to play for 3.
There's Brousseau rolling to the right. And that caught at the 25-yard line. Levon Brown hauling it in. And they got a spike at 4 seconds to go. Nope. They're lining up for the field goal. They're not going to get it off. Oh! Just chucking it up. Just
he was open.
Madness. He was open.
They got it off. They got that off, but they couldn't execute the snap and the kick. That's Ryan
McConnell.
Yeah, I believe so. The tight end, number 26. Now, they come out, and this is called a fire drill when you can't get the hold correct. So they do. You look at the clock. They're going to get this good execution there, but he cannot make the catch. So he's rolling out, and he has him open there, and then he turns up the field and just chucks it into the end zone. But a good job of awareness on the fire drill by Ryan McConnell. Against New Mexico, Boise State executed one of these.
Oh, it was beautiful.
A fire drill earlier in the year in the Mountain West for a touchdown.
The Isaiah Hankins kick. And it's actually Glover fielding this one. Makes a nice move, does Glover, cuts it right back inside and almost gets to the 30-yard line. We do have a flag down. Aiden Hector on the special teams tackle. Patrick Foy, our referee, going to let us know what the penalty was as Calandria and his crew get set to take the field once again. Kind of a slow start for them, but those 3 second quarter touchdowns made amends. Calandria had one of those rushing touchdowns for UNLV. All right, so a holding penalty on UNLV. We'll push him back just a bit. See the numbers there. The first couple of drives, not great, and then 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and that puts Colorado State in dangerous territory, Dan. If UNLV backed up here can get a good drive going, can Colorado State's offense generate enough to get back into the game?
There's Thomas trying to find a crease. Not a whole lot there. Kenyon Agers on the tackle after the gain of 3.
That time they bring Gums, another one of their tight ends, across the formation to make a block, and really couldn't kind of find anybody. Apologized to Jet Thomas there in the huddle.
JoJo Earl, the motion man, at the top of your screen now. Pressure coming, unloaded by Calandria, and had to get rid of it probably a little quicker than he wanted to, unable to connect with Jaden Bradley.
He's trying to get the ball down the field when pressured and find one-on-one coverage. That time Bradley did have a few steps, but Calandria, who gets hit by Mitchell there, just a little bit far. But the right idea to find the one-on-one matchup downfield under pressure.
The incompletion brings up 3rd and 8.
Be a big deal if the Rams can stand up here and force a punt. Get good field position after the penalty.
Bringing a blitz once again and trying to do that back shoulder throw to Day Reynolds, not on the same page.
Amandre Joe with pretty good coverage. Was stuck to Reynolds pretty well. And that is a nice start for Colorado State to get off the field defensively and keep that hot UNLV offense cooling on the sideline.
Javion Kennard back deep, the freshman. Has some room to run, makes a move, plus territory for Kennard. Inside the 35-yard line. Cam Brown on the stop. 45-yard punt, 22-yard return for Kennard.
And this is what the Rams need. You can't just depend on your offense. You're going to have some defensive luck and some special teams explosive plays to get back into this game and to keep pace with Calandria and the Rebels offense. They're set up really well here after the penalty and the good return. Got to be efficient offensively and get something out of this.
Still just a 2-score game. Colorado State defense stepping up. Patient, tough running by Jalen Dupree. McDuffie on the stop.
Nice job by Dupree not panicking when he gets knocked back at the line of scrimmage, kind of resets his feet and makes a second effort down the field, stays up and gets 4 yards. Those are such big plays for them on first down to keep Brousseau in a manageable situation, to say the least.
Brousseau being chased as he rolls out to his right, has to get rid of it. That's going to bring up 3rd down. After their defense forced to 3 and out, really important for them. Best starting field position of the game.
Yeah, really good pressure. And Brousseau can't really set up and drift out there and make a play like he wants to. Cohen Fuller.
300-pounder was moving.
Yeah, he was moving pretty good. But Brousseau's doing a good job playing within himself. We talked about him pressing in the last game, throwing picks. This has not been the case.
UNLV showing blitz. And here it comes. Nowhere to go. 4th down coming up. Jaheim Joseph with the pressure.
Well, they've got to find some way to get something out of this, like we said. They bring 5 guys. And that forces Brousseau to just get rid of it, as we said. And they've got to get something out of this, unlike they did right before the end of the half. 47-yard field goal attempt here.
Season long for Hankins is 50. And this one's going to be wide left. So Colorado State unable to capitalize on that tremendous field position.
Well, you see the way that Calandria has handled all this Colorado State pressure, and he is a guy that moves really well and makes better and better decisions as he ages in this offense. He's handled it really well. Corey Dennis doing a great job calling plays tonight for the Rebels.
Jed Thomas spinning back to the other side at the line of scrimmage. Picks up about 3. He's had a heck of a game. Now 6 carries for 125 yards, 2 runs of 55 plus.
And what I like about him is he's good for the 3- and 4-yard gains too. He's got a strong body, and he's not constantly trying to hit the home run. He gets the long runs within the context of the offense.
Calandria looking on the right side, looking deep, wide open receiver. It's Omire. Omire racing for the pylon and somersaulting in for the touchdown. It's a 68-yard score for Troy Omire.
He's a big-bodied target, finds himself wide open, and Calandria throws him a very catchable ball, almost like a pop pass, throws it high, right into his hands, and good speed from Omire, running away from Lamondre Joe, and with the dramatic finish in the end zone. Another gashing play, this time in the passing game from the Rebels.
3rd touchdown of the year for Omire. Began his career at Texas, moved on to Arizona State, and now a 5th-year senior at UNLV, scoring his 3rd touchdown of the year. The Rebels heating up here in the second half after 21-point second quarter. All kinds of moves getting put on here by UNLV. It's Jaden Bradley with the hurdle for the first down, and then Troy Omire with the somersault into the end zone, doing his best Simone Biles. And they're having fun, man.
Both guys 6'4". How tall is Biles?
Probably not even 5'4", I would imagine. Is she even 5 feet tall?
I don't know.
Google that.
It's not bothering that guy, though. He feels it no matter what.
I don't think he's doing somersaults, at least not yet. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Graduate by Hilton. Spirited stays in your favorite college towns. All right, so Colorado State trying to get something going on offense. Their only touchdown of the game came on their first drive of the game. Went for it on 4th and goal. Short touchdown pass from Jackson Brousseau to Rocky Beers. Justin Marshall with some room. That'll help the cause. Picks up 13.
That's what they were able to do on that first drive of the game. Get the run game going a little bit. Throw it out to the perimeter. Keep things manageable for Brousseau. Make it so he doesn't have to press too much. Got to stay within the offense here because they don't have many weapons on the edges.
This time it's Dupree for 3.
Still using a little bit of tempo are the Rams. 2nd down and 7.
Look at Tyson Summers, and that must have been a crazy bye week for him. He's getting to know the entire offensive unit, right? As a defensive coordinator, you don't have a ton of interaction with the offensive guys.
Yeah, and changed where they do the meetings, went into the locker room to do all the team meetings. Interesting stuff.
Dupree on 2nd and 7, picks up 2. Yeah, not an easy situation. He barely had a voice when we talked to him in our production meeting, but he's super helpful, very energetic. You look at the career path for him. He's coached at 11 different colleges, most recently at Western Kentucky before joining the staff this year with Jay Norvell, and then he has to replace the guy that's hired him. Not an easy situation, but he's done a nice job. Third and 5, 4-man rush from UNLV, and that went off the mark.
Well, you could tell they wanted to get that ball to Rocky Beers. who had the touchdown earlier. He's going to run an out route kind of from the slot. And just no chance to make that catch as the ball was low and outside. And after a couple good runs, Colorado State's going to have to punt it back to this red-hot Vegas offense.
So on comes Brian Hansen again. With that unique sidewinder style, gets a great bounce. Going to be inside the 10-yard line, all the way down to the 5 before they down it. What a kick by Brian Hansen, 52 yards. Back in Fort Collins, Colorado State down 28-10. It's been the run game that's been the difference for UNLV tonight. 3 plays of 50 or more yards. And really, it's Jet Thomas who's done the lion's share of the work. On just 6 carries, he has 126 yards and a touchdown. And now working from their own 5-yard line, and flag down on first down.
False start. Offense, number 2. Penalties, passes to the goal. Replay first down.
Called down at the back, Kevon Lee. Yeah, stepping early. Take a jab step to come across there and get underneath Makahele, and just got a little overzealous. Back him up even more.
Right back just past the line of scrimmage is Lee. Tafia all pumped up after that stop.
He's one of their most improved players. Guy who started his career at Washington State. He's been active throughout the night. They use Kevon Lee in these coming out situations, coming out of the end zone.
Yeah, Tafia working his way all the way up from 3rd string to starting.
Didn't play much at the start of the year. They have a few guys like that.
Lee again kind of gets through that first layer, and then it's Tui Atele on the stop along with Owen Long.
And with the good field position here for Colorado State, an opportunity to get the ball back because of the good punt, but they had him backed up on the last one, and Calandria gashed him with a long throw.
Let's see if Colorado State brings the blitz as they have done so many times tonight. And yes, they do. They're going to keep it on the ground. Conservative play call by UNLV. Jasim Mitchell and Dylan Phelps making sure that Lee doesn't get very far.
UNLV has the luxury of the lead right now, and they just wanted to get out of the end zone to make it a more manageable punt situation. They're playing better on defense against this very bumpy ride this year for the Colorado State offense, and it's helping out the UNLV D, who's also had a bumpy ride.
Ball taking a little bit of roll right along the 50-yard line, and down at about the 47. Next Saturday, it's a huge Fox College Hoops doubleheader. First at 7, an early season top 10 showdown as BYU takes on 4th-ranked UConn. Then at 9, Dawn Staley leads her 2nd-ranked South Carolina squad against number 18 USC as they battle to be the real SC. It all tips off next Saturday, only on Fox.
Is it really a battle, Dan?
I figured you might have something to say about that,
come
Petros. Well, if you live in the South, SC is South Carolina.
Just check the championships in all sports for both schools and call me back. All they have is Hootie and the Blowfish.
George Rogers would beg to differ. Pressure coming on Brousseau, runs into the back of his own lineman, scrambling for his life right now. Gets back past the line of scrimmage, takes a shot as he's going down. Blessing Alualu Tuialemotu finally wraps him up.
Yeah, it was Fuller with the pressure, and he looked like he was going to eat him up as he beat Alex Foster on the edge. But Brousseau's got to tuck that ball. Looked like he went down pretty hard there, but gets a positive gain.
Marshall tripped up. Jaheim Joseph gets him in the backfield. Nice shoestring tackle.
Jaheim Joseph, Jake Pope, Brown, Welch, Powdrell, part of a physical UNLV secondary, come up and make a lot of tackles for Paul Gunther, the defensive coordinator.
Colorado State converted a 3rd down on that first touchdown drive. Since then, they are 0 for 8 on 3rd down. Little bunch formation to the top of your screen, empty set for Brousseau. And he's calling a timeout. Didn't like what he was seeing.
Timeout. Colorado State, that is their first. 30 seconds.
So we've talked about interim head coach Tyson Summers after Jay Norvell was let go.
Wow.
It's certainly nothing new this season, as there are a slew of head coaching openings across the land. You know, schools like UAB and Colorado State, and then you have the LSUs and the Floridas and the Penn States. I don't know if there's enough coaches to go around for these openings.
Exactly right, Dan. I mean, there's more openings than there are coaches. I heard Paul Chryst name, the great old Wisconsin coach for that Oregon State job, that they're interested in him. Tyson Summers, pretty hot name a couple years ago, and a pretty interesting guy to talk to. Be kind of compelling to see where he lands.
Well, there's so many questions that have to be answered by current coaches, where people are starting rumors or pouring a little gasoline on the fire that they could be moving. Lincoln Riley at USC is one of them.
Rumors are spreading.
Pressure coming, gets the pass off quickly. Tay Lanier wrapped up by Andrew Powdrell before he can pick up the 1st down, so that brings up 4th and 1.
Powdrell's a good tackler out there, but Lanier, the senior transfer from NAU, former Lumberjack, almost getting there. Oh, they go offside. False start again.
You can see the frustration from Brousseau.
Trying to run tempo and not everybody on the same page.
Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
It was really Martin and Beers going early out there, and that forces them off the field. A new offense, new play caller, in season, just a bye week to work on it after a rough outing, and we're seeing it here in the 2nd half.
Well, there's a reason you have spring practice and a summer camp, right? It's hard to install all that stuff in a week. A line drive worm burner of a kick bounces inside the 10-yard line. Brian Hansen, one of the more unique punting styles that you will see. That one good for 39 yards, pinning them inside the 10. Colorado State needs to answer defensively and start scoring with the quickness. Oh, we have Cam the Ram.
Oh, love him. Best mascot in the Mountain West right there. Cam the Ram.
What a beautiful mascot.
Oh, there's the that's the humanoid Cam. You know, Cam the Ram is the name of the school. It used to be Colorado A&M. So Cam the Ram.
I see where that comes from. An agricultural school, keeping it on the ground with Jet Thomas. Stiff arms his way for a 6-yard gain.
Well, Colorado State's done a good job playing field position in the last couple possessions, but that's not why they're out there. They're trying to get points. As Coach Summers told us, ain't nothing like points, and they're not getting them here. Offense has been pretty challenged. They set themselves back with a penalty. Jet Thomas getting to the edge there and getting 6.
Taking a little breather.
It looks a little frustrated there.
I wonder if he pulled something. They fake the handoff to Jalen Glover, and then it's knocked down. And then Calandria is knocked down. And there's a flag there for that hit, which I'm not sure was on purpose. It was Paul Tangelo, who was one of the guys there with the pressure.
It's Lorich, I believe, with the late hit.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 55. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's going to get UNLV out of the adverse field position situation. See what happens here. A lot of good pressure there. Throws right into it. And chesting up Calandria is the team barber, Andrew Cuts Lorich.
Didn't seem like there was a whole lot there, Petros.
Chest-to-chest contact as Will Thomas helps up Calandria.
Pressure coming. Calandria gonna use the wheels. Does this so well. Tight rope on the sideline. Calandria going the distance. A 71-yard touchdown run for Anthony Calandria. We have a flag down. Let's see if this is coming back.
What a run, though. What an effort by Calandria. You see what he can do with his legs. Johnny Manziel asked when he escapes pressure.
Holding, offense number 6. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
Jaden Bradley with the hold, the senior. Versatile wide receiver. Let's just watch Calandria. They're bringing 5 guys, and he goes first to the right and then diagonally across the field and then up the sideline with the acceleration. Just a great individual effort, picking up blocks all over the place. Jalen Glover, but somewhere in there, Bradley was holding on. Here it is, right there. And that might be what sprung Calandria to the sideline. Him holding on to CJ Blocker.
Again, spinning his way for 5 yards is Glover. Just rotating those guys in there. Kevon Lee, Jaden Thomas, and Jalen Glover all have been very effective on the ground tonight. 167 rushing yards for UNLV in the game thus far, well on their way to a 200.
Yeah, and as the game has gone on, we've seen more and more UNLV offensive weapons in the open field, striding out.
Direct snap to Glover. Glover picking up the first down.
Glover's been good. So is Kevon Lee. That time he takes the direct snap and fakes the handoff to his quarterback, Calandria. At some point down the stretch of the season, he might give it to Calandria there. It's a very interesting look from Corey Dennis. Good for 9 yards.
His longest run of the game. Calandria looking downfield, taking a shot, got him! Jaden Bradley climbs the ladder and hauls it in.
Sees the mismatch with Jaden Bradley on the safety. Bella puts it up for him. Bella only 5'11". Bradley, as we talked about, 6'4". You've seen his hops earlier.
Here's Glover down to the 1 yard line.
Now, UNLV really starting to show their big playability as Colorado State's offense has faded here in the second half, and their defense has just been on the field too long. When you're a heavy blitzing defense, you really are focused on getting off the field and getting negative plays, and that just hasn't happened since the first quarter. They hurt themselves also with the penalty on Lorich.
Oh, Calandria has to spin out of trouble. What a run by Calandria. Goes right, 2 defenders there, spins to the backside of the defense, nobody home, touchdown.
Well, he scored a touchdown earlier on a designed quarterback run. This also would have been a designed quarterback run, but it was designed to go to the right. He doesn't like it and makes a very quick decision. And if you're going to take it back, you got to take it all the way back and very quickly if you're going to do that, because you don't have any help there on the backside. And Calandria, with that acceleration in his lower body, is able to do just that.
Ramon Viella on for the extra point. UNLV has now scored 28 straight. Our Good Hands moment, sponsored by Allstate, celebrating 20 years of the Allstate Good Hands Nets program. Jaden Bradley with a tremendous catch here, spinning around with the defensive back all over him. Jace Bella going up to get that catch to set up the touchdown, and it's a 25-point lead for UNLV. The Rebs absolutely rolling right now.
Hard to imagine there being a more explosive offense in the Mountain West this year and a better play caller than Anthony Calandria, or signal caller at quarterback. This team and offense specifically that Dan Mullen has put together is really impressive, and you're starting to see that physical superiority of guys like Jaden Bradley, Omire, Day-Day Reynolds out on the edges, exploiting the mismatches and going up and making plays.
Lloyd Avant is the deep man for Colorado State. Costa kicking off for UNLV once again. He has been a busy man, especially lately. 4 straight touchdowns unanswered, scored by UNLV. And Colorado State starting to run out of time here. They need a chunk play. And that's what UNLV had trouble with the last couple of weeks. Last week against New Mexico, they gave up over 300 yards on just 6 plays. That's one of the things Dan Mullen said we got to fix. We got to communicate better on defense. To give up that many yards on 6 plays just can't happen. And so far has not happened here tonight.
And they've done a much better job, but they are up against a more challenged offensive unit, no doubt about it. But you do see market improvement in this UNLV D. And they've been in a lot of shootouts this year because their offense is so great.
Here's Brousseau looking downfield, pocket collapses, and that's going to go in the books as a sack for Tumiche Adelea.
Adelea, been in the game, coming off the edge at this point, makes an outside move, gets inside the back. Does a great job up against Avant. And Brousseau holding on to that leg when he goes down. That's the 2nd sack for the Rebs.
And the 4th sack on the season for Adelea. Brousseau thinking about going to the right side. He's sacked again. This time it's Wasale Muasavesi. And they are all over Jackson Brousseau right now.
Came from the edge last time. This time an inside move, beating the center. Getting love on the sideline.
Well, Muavesi with his 1st sack of the year.
Yeah, 3 sacks and 8 tackles for loss for UNLV.
3rd and 19. This one complete to Levon Brown. Going to be about 5-6 yards shy as the ball pops out, and he's grabbing his left hammy.
Yeah, he really got bent back there. Brown trying to find a way to get to that stick, and just gets really kind of high-low. Justin Flo going low.
Yeah, that didn't look good. Colorado State, we talked about the injuries on defense, offensively. They've been a little challenged. The quarterback, Jackson Brousseau, making just his 6th career start as a redshirt sophomore. And you can see the difference in weapons, right, on the offensive side of the ball for UNLV. And
how about that?
Colorado State just hops right back up. That's pretty amazing.
You love to see that after such an awkward way to go down. Body being pulled in 2 different directions.
Yeah, that was a scary looking potential injury for Levon Brown. Good to see him walking off.
Timeout. UNLV. Their first 30 seconds.
So UNLV calling the timeout.
Interesting time for that.
Yeah.
But they wanted to see something to correct in the special teams, I would imagine. Dan Mullen, it was probably a formational or personnel issue with the punt return team, and you see Coach Mullen getting after his guys.
Attention to detail.
Still coaching.
That he is. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to talk to.
He was great.
Yeah.
And, he's even better now than he used to be because now he's done what we do.
Yeah.
So he's a lot nicer to us and more open than maybe he was in the past at Mississippi State and Florida.
And I think he's found a very comfortable place in Las Vegas, an up-and-coming sports town and an up-and-coming program with great facilities, playing at Allegiant Stadium, which is a great thing for them in the city, getting out of the Silver Bowl. UNLV is a destination.
Fielded at the 22 and forced out of bounds around the 30. And, you know, one of the things that was interesting about Mullen, we talked about all these head coaching openings, right? I believe it was Urban Meyer who was putting his name out there potentially for the Penn State job. And he squashed that right off the bat. They were 6-0 at the time. He goes, I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere.
I was in Las Vegas at the Mountain West Media Days, and, I mean, he was holding court. That's who he is, you know, but he was talking about how much he loved it and what he could do with the place and what his plans for the future are. And he said they were going to be an exciting team this year, and they sure are.
Here's Lee picking up a couple. They absolutely are, and the facilities have been upgraded. The Fertitta family, the owners of the UFC, dumped a bunch of money into that, and you know how important that is for a program.
Absolutely, and you know, Barry Odom in the last few years did a great job at UNLV too, in a different way. They were a defensive football team with a go-go offense with Brennan Marion as their offensive coordinator, doing some interesting things. This is a different look team, but success has been the result, and they are just a different program than they have been for years.
Here's Lee on the reception, fights for the first down for UNLV. You know, you talked about Barry Odom. Before Barry Odom got to town, from 95 to 2022, they had 2 winning seasons.
Yeah, and I mean, just not John Robinson, I believe, my old coach at USC, had one of those. There's Jet Thomas on the sideline. We haven't seen him come back since coming off frustrated.
Yeah, I think he might have tweaked something. So Barry Odom comes in. They go 9-5, 11-3, and now you have Dan Mullen, who's on the cusp of 7-2.
You got to go back to the Harvey Hyde, Randall Cunningham days to find success that they're having right now at UNLV. It's a great thing to watch.
Offense number 6, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, it's going to be a different look next year for UNLV, right? As we look at the record over the past 3 seasons as compared to the previous 9. What a remarkable turnaround Barry Odom spearheaded, and now Dan Mullen is piggybacking on that.
He is coaching hard on the sideline, animated, telling his guys to stay in this game mentally. Talking to Jaden Bradley there, who's had a great game.
And that brings us to the end of the third quarter. It has been all Rebels. They have scored 28 unanswered going into the fourth on top 35-10 in Fort Collins. All UNLV in Fort Collins. This stadium emptying out as the Rams' hopes of a victory still alive if they can pull out a miracle here in the fourth quarter. But they started great. That first drive, went forward on fourth down, scored a touchdown, but have been unable to find the end zone since. That was a 75-yard drive since then. 8 drives, netting only a field goal. Here's Kevon Lee with some room, and there's another hurdle. Kind of a theme for UNLV tonight. First it was Jaden Bradley, now it's Kevon Lee.
They're out there having a great time. Kevon Lee comes clean. Getting by Jeremy Owens. Jeremy Neighborn Owens.
God, that is a dangerous play.
Look at the 2 mouthpiece look that everybody's got these days. I don't understand it.
You sound like the get off my lawn guy.
I know, but I just don't. Why do you need that many?
I've had this conversation with my son many a times. I said at some point there's going to be a catch that hits a mouthpiece and you're not able to catch it because it's flopping around.
I don't get it. It's like the new style is to have multiple mouthpieces dangling off your helmet. I mean,
I guess it's just like walking around with your shoes untied.
I suppose. I mean, it feels like it would be distracting, slapping against your neck and hitting the top of the helmet when you're running.
I fully agree. It'll be gone next year. Calandria downfield, wide open is Tayshawn Lyons. And more kerosene on the fire, that is UNLV. A 39-yard touchdown pass from Calandra to Lyons.
He doesn't have to put much on this. 4-man rush, and he's sitting back there in a rocking chair. Delivers it. Lyons so wide open he can turn his body all the way around. Lamondre Joe can only watch it happen. Lyons out of Hayward, California. 3rd school, UNLV, Washington and Utah before.
A 32-point lead for the Rebels coming in off back-to-back wins. They knew they had to do something special here tonight, and they are on their way to jump into another victory. FS1 College Football is sponsored by Graduate by Hilton. Spirited stays in your favorite college towns. Moon looking pretty tonight. Not as pretty as the scoreboard if you're a UNLV fan, though. 42-10 all over Colorado State. They have scored 35 unanswered. Playing rock, paper, scissors in the stands at this point.
Been that kind of night in Fort Collins.
Caden Costa's kick. Drives Avant into the end zone. He's going to bring it out past the 20. And we've seen 2 pretty good hurdles tonight. I'm talking Ronaldo Nehemiah type hurdles. First, it's Kevon Lee.
Yeah, that one's pretty clean.
And this is Jaden Bradley. This was for a first down, and he picked it up because of the hurdle.
Just getting up there. Athleticism on the perimeter for UNLV. And Kevon Lee's their big back.
So new quarterback, it's Darius Curry in at quarterback for Colorado State. And he keeps it himself, squirts ahead for a 4-yard gain. Curry, the redshirt freshman from Long Beach Poly in Southern California.
Jackrabbits.
He entered the game last week in the third quarter. Brings a little bit of a spark. Certainly a change of pace. Oh, flea flicker. There's the spark they were looking for. Justin Marshall making a move, plus territory for the Rams. Okay.
Pretty well executed here because it wasn't there. There was pressure with Pope on the blitz. But he gets the ball out anyway with a little creativity, and Marshall trying to get some wiggle going down the field.
27-yard gain, best chunk play for Colorado State in a while. Curry nearly picked Quandarius Keys in and out of the arms.
Keys, a junior transfer at a Pearl River Junior College, originally out of Mississippi. Could have had that stat pretty easy.
Here's Dupree. Tuiale Motu on the stop. Darius Curry looking to throw again. And this time he is intercepted. A dangerous throw a minute ago, and LaTerrence Welsh making a pay this time.
Yeah, the throw on the flea flicker was good, but those last two, not what you're looking for if you're a Colorado State Ram fan.
Back in Fort Collins, dropped interception by Quandarius Keys, and when you drop something like that, at least in practice, you got to do some push-up. So even in a game, Keys is saying, you know what? I'm doing the push-ups. I'm paying the penalty.
Good form.
Yeah, look good. And we have a new quarterback in the ball game. On in relief of Anthony Calandria is Cameron Friel, another athletic dual threat quarterback from Hawaii. And Friel going to keep it himself right up the middle on 1st and 10. And the Rebels going for 30+ once again.
They have a great offense. Friel's had success as the quarterback of this team under Barry Odom. Doing a good job as a backup for Dan Mullen. Alex Orji, the Michigan quarterback we all remember, is out for the year. He was here competing with Calandria for the starting job in camp.
There's a give to Glover. Yeah, Orji actually started the first game at quarterback. They both started at the same time. I think he tossed to Calandria, who threw the first pass, and Calandria ended up winning the job, and then Orji got hurt in that UCLA game and done for the year.
Coach Mullen's really found a leader in Calandria, and he's a junior.
Friel, the Mountain West Freshman of the Year back in 2022.
Calandria looked great tonight. Got a headset on now, involved in the play calling process.
Friel looking to throw initially. He's going to run it here and pick up the first down.
Thought he was going to hurdle him.
He's a big kid, Friel.
Yeah, 6'3", 230. He's a load. Colorado State defense gets pinned inside, and he's able to bubble out to the right and convert the first down, keep the clock running.
Calandria just a junior after a couple of years at UVA, so he's somebody you can build a program around. It's a different time building programs these days, Petros. Not like it used to be.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Mullen knows how to do it as well. And he knows where to go to find players. And there's no doubt that being in Las Vegas is a much bigger attraction, sports-wise, in 2025 than it was before.
Well, you got a couple of pro teams. It's a pro town now.
And the A's are coming to town. Hockey team. Got the Aces. Got the Raiders.
On 2nd and 6, trying to bounce it to the outside is Glover. Penalty flag on the play. Stealing all Oakland's teams is what Vegas is doing right now.
Snatching them up.
Yeah. Well, the Warriors aren't going anywhere. We know that.
Yeah, they went to San Francisco.
Well, true. Still in the Bay Area. Fair enough. They built a new arena.
10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Well done. Well done.
They left too.
You are correct.
They got Cal.
They got Cal.
Berkeley's right on the edge there. They won today. Holding penalty is going to send UNLV back a little bit.
You know, it's going to be interesting to see if Dan Mullen takes the same approach in the portal. He went after a lot of older, experienced guys from Power 4 schools, right? I don't know if he's going to do that 2 years in a row, but...
Yeah, the portal's interesting because he did talk about how guys that are 2-3 years into college, Vegas is a lot more attractive to them than a guy looking for a more traditional college experience.
Right. Glover with some room on 2nd and long, going to set up 3rd and manageable now.
You know, they had success last year under Barry Odom, but Coach Mullen brought in a whole new team. 24 new starters on offense, defense, and on the special teams. And there's only a few guys like Lucas Conti and McDuffie and Jet Thomas that you really recognize from last year.
Yeah, whenever there's a coaching change, obviously graduation happens, but a lot of times there's a mass exodus, no matter how much success the program had. And it was really a yeoman's effort by Dan Mullen to kind of rebuild this squad. And we have another flag.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
A procedural issue with the new quarterback in the game. Mullen still coaching hard. He's in everybody's ear. He's all over the referee. He's got that beanie. Has been everywhere on his head.
It's been moving around all night.
It's been low. It's been high. It's been off.
It's been high for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like Joe Pesci in Home Alone now.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's Colorado, but I mean, just, you know, physically high. Friel throwing to the right side. Almost completed it to the equipment guy.
Still got Owen Long, the leading tackler in the country. We talked about at the beginning of our show. Out there trying to lead the defense, wearing the green dot. Get everybody lined up. Great individual year for him.
Yeah, and in addition to all the tackles, he's a sophomore captain. Such a rarity. Jay Norvell told us week 2 that he's never had a 19-year-old captain before. And again, a different time now where you have 24 and 25-year-olds on the team. Shows what a leader he is here in Fort Collins. Fox College Football Friday, under the lights in prime time. Next week, it's a battle in the Big Ten as Minnesota takes on Dante Moore and 9th-ranked Oregon Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on Fox. That'll be a fun one. And again, Darius Curry back in at quarterback, came in the last series. Threw an interception, this time over the middle to Rocky Beers, who's been one of the few offensive weapons tonight. Scored the only touchdown of the game for Colorado State.
Quickly tackled by Justin Flo. Was a huge recruit at Upland High School when he signed with Oregon. Arizona, this is his 3rd stop.
Quick pass over to the right side, Lanier. unable to make up much ground there. Amaris Brown on the stop.
Justin Flo out there mixing it up. Amaris Brown with the 2 dangling mouthpieces. I like the multiple mouthpiece trend a lot more than I like the short shorts pants trend in modern football, if we're talking about that kind of stuff.
Safer. I don't think we're going to see that short trend last for long, by the way. 3rd and 6.
Nice job there by Curry getting that ball out. They rushed 7.
Keenan Higgins.
Repping the Oregon colors there.
Yeah, that he is. Fourth and 1 for Darius Curry. Flags flying everywhere.
Timeout. UNLV, that is their 2nd in 30 seconds.
All right, you mentioned it earlier, Petros, just how that hat has been moving all over Dan Mullen's head tonight. Many shapes and forms.
He's been very animated, yeah.
He has a full forehead kind of showing there, you know,
yeah.
pulled back kind of hipster style like they wear in the summertime in California.
Now it's tilted over the UNLV to the side.
Yeah. And
the headset hat,
yeah.
UNLV all the way over. And that time it's...
I mean, it's fully, yeah, it's full staff there. Yeah, and then he pulled it down.
Yeah, now he's got the headset back on. Very creative look from Coach, and he's got those. He hasn't moved the gloves off, though. He's kept the gloves on. I love how animated he is coaching this team throughout the evening.
Still going.
Yeah.
You're up 32 with less than 6 minutes to go, and he's yapping at the refs. He's talking to his star wide receiver. He's still coaching.
And they're going to kick it away here.
JoJo Earl calls for the fair catch, backed up to the 25-yard line. And this really is just what the doctor ordered for the Rebels. After starting the season 6-0, let's be honest, people were talking about being in the playoff picture. You know, you win the conference, and then you lose back-to-back games at Boise State. Tough team. New Mexico, tough team. And
Utah State's not easy.
No.
Neither is Hawaii. And then the battle for the Fremont Cannon against a struggling Nevada team, the only team that's struggling more offensively in the Mountain West than Colorado State.
But you're looking at a realistic chance here, you know, whether it's conference championship game or not, as we have a flag on this play for
Yeah, they broke the huddle with too many guys.
Legal substitution. Offense, 12 players on the field. 5-yard penalty. First down.
JoJo Earl
That's
running off the field.
That's going to move the hat again.
Yeah. I hope he laughs at that if he comes back and watches the TV copy of this game.
I mean, there's so many shows to see in Vegas, it'd be hard to imagine.
Yeah, it's a valid point. Here's Glover, finding some room on the left side. Making up a lot of ground there. Going to set up second and about 4. It is going to be fun to watch how things play out towards the end of the season here. You know, whether it's San Diego State or Boise State or UNLV, it's going to be an interesting race to the finish line in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, a lot of teams that you just didn't expect to be there. San Diego State, so much different than they were last year with their identity. You expect Boise State to be there.
Glover again bouncing at the outside along the right side. Plus territory for Jaden Glover. Nice run. Finally forced out of bounds by C.J. Blocker.
Just the effort's not there tackling-wise from Colorado State defensively right now. Glover gets to the outside and then basically goes in to 4 or 5 different Ram defenders like a bowling ball. Comes out, switches the ball, and uses his straight arm. He's had a good night, spelling Jaden Thomas and Kevon Lee.
Yeah, that one goes for 31 yards. And he has 90 right now. So creeping on a 100-yard game. Friel hit as he throws. DeAndre Gill Jr. on the pressure. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Rebels.
Friel's left a little bit to be desired when he drops back to throw. A little bit more suited to that triple option offense they were running under Brennan Marion and Barry Odom.
Friel been primarily a backup the last couple of years after being the Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year in 2023, so not nearly as many opportunities. He's attempted 7 passes over the last 2 years. So 293 rushing yards for UNLV. They had 300 on the ground against Idaho State in the opener. And it looks like they could be on their way to a season high. Here's Kevon Lee, and that should put him over 300. What a night it has been for the 3-headed monster of Kevon Lee, Jet Thomas, and Jalen Glover. That one goes for 17, and they are indeed at 310 yards on the night.
And he wanted to stay into the game. You see him smiling on the sideline. They know that there's a lot of yards out there to be had against this beaten up and tired Colorado State defense.
They have Glover back in the game, trying to get him to 100 yards. And here he is over the 100-yard mark for Jaden Glover on 12 carries. So you have Jet Thomas at 131. And Glover just a shade under at 99 yards. That takes us to the 2-minute timeout. We're back to see if Glover can go over the century mark when we return. Welcome back to Fort Collins. These have been the Road Warriors, the stars of the show, Jaden Jet Thomas and Jalen Glover. Thomas with a couple of carries over 50 yards, and Jalen Glover 1 yard away from a 100-yard game as the Rebels have nearly 320 yards on the ground, a season high. And fighting for that yard and unable to get it is a new running back, which is not Jalen Glover. Checking into the game is Roderick Ray.
Glover's going to stay at 99, it looks like. Lee had 46. Calandry at 33. Friel with 10. Adds up to about 319 yards on 38 rushes. 4 touchdowns.
They have been doing it and doing it well on the ground here tonight. Losing yards on this play is Gale Ochoa. And everybody getting in on the action here for the Rebels in Fort Collins.
See what they do here on 4th down. Ochoa's going to come out. Friel back in. In 2023, one of the guys Friel played behind at UNLV was the current USC quarterback, Jaden Mayava. He's having a great year in Southern Cal.
Yes, he is. And here's Friel.
That should do it.
Inside the 10-yard line as the clock continues to move. And what a dominant performance here by UNLV, and they needed it. I wouldn't say the confidence ever waned, but when you start 6-0, the sky's the limit, and you lose back-to-back games. You hit bumps in the road for the first time all season. You got to get back on track, and this was certainly.
Well, how's he going to do? All right, there, yeah, get it.
Pulling it all
tight
the way
on
down,
there, Coach.
Nice and snug,
For the
Coach
handshake.
Mullen. And that is the victory formation. Fun game for the Rebels here in Fort Collins. Hearty thank you to our producer, Max Linewan, our director, Tyler Dare, our AD, Andy Kavanaugh, our BAs, Brett Elder and Travis Garland, Chris Taylor on stats, RJ Hazen, our spotter here tonight, as the Rebels get their first road win at Colorado State in more than 2 decades. Still work to be done for Colorado State interim head coach Tyson Summers, looking for his first win. Anthony Calandra, all smiles. Had that flu game last week. He played great, wasn't able to get the win, but he gets his 7th win as a quarterback at UNLV, and that hat on nice and snug for Dan Mullen, and the Rebels getting the big win. Thanks for watching, everybody. Fun to be with you here on Mount